Cheers, Castle.
Here we are again, dude.
Yep.
It's Mischief Castle.
In the backyard. My backyard.
That's why you hear crickets.
The backyard.
It's that we're not recording this at night,
No.
despite what the sounds of the environment might tell you.
It's kind of fucked up, ain't it?
Yeah. Crickets shouldn't be allowed to do that, honestly. They should be a nighttime creature only.
Is that like normal? I feel like I don't hear that.
Are they nocturnal? They're not nocturnal because obviously we're hearing them right now.
Yeah, obviously, but like I don't hear them during the day in other people's backyards. I think like there's like some like chemical seeping into the ground or something here.
You just have like
Yeah.
you got DLC in your house?
Yeah.
Like the day oh wait, did you like pre-order?
Yeah, so we get like
You get the daytime crickets bonus.
yeah, we get the passive bonus for daytime
Oh
crickets.
fuck. All right.
So it's like you close your eyes and you can just imagine.
You know who had passive bonuses? Did you hear about the fucking the prisoner escape in Pennsylvania last week? Did you hear anything about that? See the
There was
video of
like
this
3 of
fucking
them.
guy?
What happened? Was that
Okay.
the guy that climbed up the wall?
Yeah. Yeah.
He fucking Spider-Man.
He Spider-Man'd up the fucking wall like he was American Ninja Warrior. By the way, the guy's like 5'4". So I don't know how he found a wall or a gap that small. And then he made it all the way up to the roof. Jumped over the little wire fence.
Yeah.
Jumped off of the roof and ran into the woods. And I guess because he's that little, he just didn't take fall damage or anything.
No.
But he was they shut down and locked down the entirety of the county of the prison he escaped from, and every surrounding county.
Was he
So
like
in every possible direction, they locked it down.
Was he like a violent prisoner?
I thought he was just like a bank robber or something. Yeah, he's a murderer. He's killed.
Okay, so it's not. If it was like
They
a
let a
bank
little,
robber,
they
I'd
let
be
a
like-
little Chucky doll running around.
Yeah, I'd be more like rooting for him. But now I'm like, all right.
No.
Did
He's
they
not
get
one-
him?
Yeah, they got him.
Oh, okay. Fuck. Where'd they get him?
They found him running around people's fucking backyards
Like the same day?
like the next day.
Oh. Damn.
They found him just booking it across like hopping fences. Technical mishap. What do you got going on, dude?
Your bud came out of my ear. I'm just trying to get closer because there's tension here. Or actually, yeah, you have tension.
Yeah, okay, sick.
Let's find the middle tension. Okay.
The middle tension. Nice.
Yeah.
That was pretty insane to keep up with.
We haven't had a big prison break recently.
Do you remember the last one?
I remember the
Actually,
one
I
in
don't
New
know if that was us or if that was national in like 2014.
I think that was us. That was in New York.
Was that New York?
The 2 guys?
I thought it was 3 guys.
I thought it was 2. Maybe we're thinking of actually
Maybe it
2
was-
different ones.
I might be confusing the Boston bombing with the 3 prisoner escapes because those happened around the same time.
The Boston bombings, that was fun.
2 dudes.
Yeah, just manhunt, fucking looking for him. That was a cool thing.
Do you remember the second guy in the Boston bombing during the manhunt when they found him on the boat or whatever?
And they just unloaded on the boat.
Unloaded on him and his girlfriend.
She was in there too?
Yeah, they killed her.
Oh my! Did they know she was in there?
No.
I don't think they knew.
No, they just tracked him down through like CCTV, and then they're like, "Fucking get him."
I remember seeing the helicopter footage of
Smoke
the
'em.
infrared, and they could see through the tarp that was on the boat.
Oh yeah.
So they could see the outline of a person.
Yeah. So they smoked it.
They didn't even. Did they even talk to him? Or did they just...
No, they just executed. His name was like Joker.
That's funny.
His name was literally it was spelled in like an Arabic way, but his name was literally it was like DZJKOAR or something. Like Joker Chimaev, I think was his name. It's really funny.
Damn, a man of the people.
My crimes are not a tragedy, but a comedy.
Oh man.
We got some wild background elements as well.
How are they that loud?
I don't know. It's 4 p.m. on a Thursday.
I don't like what?
Before, like a minute before we started the show, we just heard this guy from over the fence yelling, "Yeah, you like that?" And then like a little kid responded, "Yeah."
Yeah, that was not a good thing to hear over here.
And it sounded like an argument at first, but then there's like other family members over there doing whatever. You got a lot. There's a lot of storylines going on in this neighborhood.
Yeah, we have so many plots. We have murder, we have sex, we have breakups, we have race crimes, we have the fire department and the police department and the Mexican cartel. They're all
at the
here.
same time, yeah.
It's pretty incredible. Every day there's a mini episode going on.
You know the Chinese triads in Guilderland?
No.
Hear about that?
No, I
My
haven't.
cousin told me this story. So anytime my cousin and I, we'd see like cops rolling around through Gilliland. Anytime like a cop
Yeah.
had their lights on and get out of the way. I was making this joke about like, oh, the Chinese must be out in force, because that's where all of the Chinese immigrants in upstate New York moved to. They moved to Gilliland, which is just outside Albany, which is where UAlbany is, like the most massive university for Asian imports to go
Really?
to. Yeah.
No, I never thought about it.
Huge population of Asians, because they got this like new science department and they're doing esports now.
They are?
So they pulled a shit ton of Koreans and Chinese.
Goddamn. League is wild over there, I bet.
Yeah, it is. Like they're bringing back LAN parties, like in-person
fuck.
LAN parties.
Honestly, that's sick if you're into a game
If
of
you're into
esports.
that, it's
Yeah,
awesome.
If you're into
yeah.
like League of Legends, fucking hardcore, or maybe CS. I don't think CS is being played out there.
No, it's not.
Asians do not like CS.
Asians do not like CS. Anyway, I was like, hey, Evan, fucking check it. The Chinese must be out again. And then one day he's like, dude, so check this out. And he tells me the most wild story I've ever heard. So he tells me on Western, the major road that runs through that town and towards Albany, there was this one day, this Chinese family living in this house, like on the major roadway too, like on the Strode. Like just,
Yeah.
that part like across from the Westmere Fire Department or whatever next to Cross Gates where there's just like some houses right there.
Yeah.
So there's this Chinese family living in there. And one day, this other Chinese guy, dressed in all black, comes into their house on either side of the door. And he goes in through the front window. Just like he says like somebody like opened the window beforehand, and then he just put like a little pebble in there or something so it didn't fully close, and then opened it back up at night, went in, murdered the whole family with a hatchet.
Here in Gilderland.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
One man, one woman, 2 kids. Just
Tough.
Yep. And then the police didn't do anything about it. They didn't even investigate at all.
What the fuck?
And so yeah, now I've been on the wave of like the triad runs Gilderland. Foreign mafias are like consuming all of the places we live.
That'd be so cool if that was actually happening, like hardcore.
I like the Chinese triad way more than the cartel.
Oh yeah, way more.
Top 5 mafias go.
Well, the Russian,
Top 5, they're number 1.
the number one.
Okay, no, who's your number 2 mafia?
Irish.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. 3.
I don't know that many. Probably the triads, but didn't the UK have a big mob presence?
No.
I felt like, well, that was probably in like the 70s. They did have a mob presence that was heavy. They were like the only people with guns. The police didn't have guns. They only had guns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm overhearing the stories of that. That would probably be my third. The stories I heard from there with their British accents, running around with guns, being like, oh, man.
Yeah, mate. I'll be having that now.
Yeah, it's like The Gentleman, that movie.
Flip your trousers. All your contents will be mine now.
That seems aesthetic, just for the aestheticism of it.
Mhm.
Then Chinese, and then what am I at, 4 now?
Yeah, so.
And then probably the Taliban.
That is a mafia.
Yeah,
That is a mob.
because I don't like the cartel. They're a bunch of pansies, man.
Okay. So here's my choices.
Yeah.
Number 1, Yakuza.
Okay.
We're going Yakuza. Number 2, Russian. Number 3, Italian. 4, Irish. Number 5, I'll show some solidarity here. We'll go Taliban again.
Okay.
We'll round it out.
It's funny.
It's you got to throw your meme pick in there.
They're the only ones that own a country now. So
I guess, yeah.
they gotta make it. They own Afghanistan.
Oh wait, hold on. Sleeper pick. Honorable number 5, the Catholics.
Yeah.
The Catholics just have a part of Italy.
Yeah.
They had an empire, technically. They had multiple countries.
Yeah.
That's kind of a mob
Mm.
because they did it by force through 2 crusades. So
And they weren't really like government figures. So.
not at the time, no. They had their
populace.
own. They had their own leadership, but they were not governmental,
Yeah,
and they still do. They got the poop.
it's funny. Well, the Taliban kind of left the mob status or the mafia status because now they're
government.
governmentizing all over the
Oh
place.
yeah, so they don't count anymore. Yeah,
No, not
number
anymore.
5 Catholics. Yeah,
Yeah.
number 5 got to be Catholics.
For me, it would be the cartel because that's still silly.
I'd rather come on, throw the Yakuza in there above the Catholics.
Okay.
Above the cartel.
Okay, yeah. 6 cartel, I guess.
I hate the cartel.
The cartels make me want to nuke places
Yeah, the cartels are awful.
because they're trying to escape a life that's terrifying.
Oh
compared
yeah,
to,
of course.
And then they're not really coming here because they like the culture of America. They're like, it's right here. We just got to go north. That's all. Because going south, it just keeps getting worse.
Yeah,
Yeah. South
pretty-
of Mexico, we don't even hear about that much.
Honduras and all that
Yeah.
bullshit. Central America.
Central
America is so bad that we don't even know what it's part of.
It's actually...
So you know how you see like maps of continents?
Yeah.
So you got Asia. Everybody knows Asia's got that weird shape, but everybody knows where Asia is and what's in
Yeah.
it. And then you got Australia. Sometimes people throw a couple Australia little islands in there.
Yeah.
Africa, classic shape.
Classic. One of them original continents.
Europe, top 5 continent shapes all time.
Yeah.
And
You get
then
the Isles,
and then
you get the-
you get to an issue. Oh, sorry, it's Antarctica. You got to include Antarctica. Underrated, but it's there. It's
all
up
my
there.
favorite people live there.
Yeah, all 6 of them.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow, I feel so honored, man. Thank you. And then we get to a problem because North America is technically just 3 countries.
Yeah, it is.
It's Canada, the United States,
America.
and Mexico.
Yeah. I like how
And those-
America
those-
named 2 continents.
Yeah, those 3 countries make up the continental map of the United
Yeah.
States.
And
then we get to
acronym.
and then we get
Come.
to yeah. That's very true.
Yeah.
They do that. But then we get to South America.
Oh.
And when you see a continental map of South America, it makes sense, but something is usually missing in the northwest corner. And it's a pretty important something because it's the 4 countries that connect North and South America.
Oh my god. I don't know the layout of that area.
Of Central America?
Not at all.
Honduras, Panama,
I could place Panama maybe because I know where the canal
is, yeah. Yeah, Honduras, Panama. Yeah, I lost it already.
It's-
I don't even know. I think it's 4 countries. That's as much as I know.
Oh my god.
But it's never on the map. Like it's that bad.
It's never on the map? What do you mean?
Like I'm saying like if you Google like a sketch outline
Yeah.
of like officially drawn maps of each continent. That's that whole bit I just did. Is
Yeah.
you would see the shape of each continent and it would contain
Yeah.
each country within it. But then you get to North
wouldn't
America.
see it.
You get to North America and South of Mexico. It does not contain the Central American countries.
No.
But then you look up the same thing for South America, and in its northwest,
Okay,
it does
yeah.
not contain the Central American countries. But Central America is not its own recognized continent.
No, it's not.
It's just 4 countries, I think, that have barely any government.
It's a wild place. Last I heard, like, half of it is, like, owned by China, half is owned by America.
It's
Like, their
something like that.
Their economies are, like, tied weirdly. South America, China has involvement in it. It's, like, weird politics down there.
I heard Brazil doesn't have money anymore.
Brazil is...
Like they were switching to Chinese currency, but then
Yeah.
China said no. But then Brazil already got rid of all their money,
Well,
so now they just have no not even like they don't have a budget for anything. They literally just have no money.
they're trying to get rid of the U.S. dollar and all of the global trade.
Mm-hmm.
Because
more bucks for me, baby.
well, less bucks for America, I guess. Economy crash. Here we go. Because right now, whenever they trade oil or gas or fucking minerals or anything, it's traded with a dollar amount.
Mhm.
If Russia's trading with China, they speak in dollars, which is buck wild, by the
Yeah.
way. That's
Yeah.
insane that America pulled that one off. We're like between 2 close countries, America's involved somehow. Like, okay, I kind of get the resentment from that angle. So they're trying to come up with their own united dollar amount.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what they're going to call it. It's like the fucking oil dollar.
The oil dollar.
I don't know what the fuck. It has like some catchy name.
It should be like a Latin name, like how all animal like species and genus are like referred to internationally by its Latin name, no matter what your language of origin is, so you can know which one you're talking about. The new money should be like, or This would be the perfect chance to use Esperanto. You know about Esperanto?
No.
Esperanto is I forgot who made it or when, but it's this language that's supposed to be like, it's basically a fictional like elven language that is equidistant from all root languages and studies off of the easiest ones to learn how to build a language with a simple conventional structure of how to like build sentences and stuff. So it'd be equally easy for any person of any language of origin to learn moving forward. So it was supposed to be, I think it was labeled like the universal second language, and then it just never took off because it was for gay nerds at the time.
I wonder if it was just like a philosophical, like a theoretical language.
Yeah.
They're like, what would happen thousands of years from now when all the languages merged?
They were trying to make common.
Yeah.
Is what it was.
Which fucking might happen.
This now might be the time.
Right now, I mean, fucking, not in our lifetimes. We will not see it.
No.
I think with enough travel, with enough people mixing, America's gonna be like Europe, where there's like everyone knows 3 languages minimum. And then after a while, it's just gonna merge a lot of things. People are gonna be using slang from multiple languages, combining, and it's just gonna slowly merge that way. We could say hello in 3 different ways, and then people will be like, "Oh no, it's all the same thing at this point."
Yeah.
That's gonna be interesting because I heard people mix Ukrainian, Russian, and Polish in the same sentence when I lived out in Europe. That was kind of crazy. That stuff already is happening out there. That's really interesting to think about, but not in our lifetimes. Hundreds of years from now.
It'd be strange to think. Like, people think when they talk about time travel, they're like, "Oh, you time travel back far enough, you won't recognize English."
True.
But when people talk about time traveling forward, they never consider the same thing about how language will change and develop. Because, like, if George Washington time traveled to now, we would not understand him at all. We would, like, the words would be fine, but his like phrasing of it,
Describe things.
yeah, and the meaning of each individual word is like more closer to like a dictionary, but a dictionary from the time. Because culturally, we'll have changed the meaning of words and updated dictionaries throughout history.
He'd be using his short, like words for things, like his slang at the time, plus the way people spoke. That'd be interesting to see. I want to hear a person from that time talk.
Mm-hmm.
That would be interesting because there's not any recordings from back then.
Time travel would be very useful for the purposes of historical record
or just my own fun. That'd be so much.
That's the only other way you can go at it, I think.
If you were to go like just to visit and look, you wouldn't get attacked or anything.
Go look, okay.
Yeah, anytime,
any
place, any in time.
Ooh.
Human record. We're not talking about like the Big Bang or anything.
Yeah.
Where would you go if that could happen? Like, you can't get sick or anything. You can't get stabbed. You could just walk around and no one will know you're there. You could walk through walls if you want.
I'm going to 32 BC. I want to see the life and times of Jesus Christ.
That'd be interesting.
Not for the religious connotation of it, because if I'm going to be there and it's real, I'll see it anyway. But because, like, Jesus is the most historically documented person on the planet, but he's also of the highest subjugation of people being like, no, that didn't happen. I would like to see it exactly as it plays out.
That'd be interesting.
The fall of Rome.
The fall of Rome?
The fall of Rome would be
That'd
nice.
Be super sick. I honestly just want to see Rome at its peak as well. To walk down the streets of Rome.
Yeah, yep. That'd be
like, what the fuck is
I'd like
this?
to go back to the first day of Rome.
First days of Rome.
The first singular day of Rome.
Okay.
And see if they finished building it in the one day. That's my historical contribution. I want to wipe that phrase out of existence, because if they did build Rome in a day, then it's like, fuck you, dude.
That'd be insane.
I want to check the Library of Alexandria before it burns.
No, that would be fascinating.
Maybe I wouldn't even be able to read anything, but just to see it, just to see a historical collection, what a library meant back then, in real time as like the most important one,
The most renowned one.
the most renowned one
That'd
ever.
be so fucking fascinating. I
Uh,
hate how it burnt down. I fucking hate how annoying that whole story was, where it was just an accident. I
Yeah,
hate that.
that's
Where
annoying.
they just shot at some ships and then burnt down the most
Important library.
known to man. That had like
And no one had any penalty for it either.
no, that had like records of old fucking science and construction and language and histories of old societies.
I'm pretty sure that contained all of. Rome had like we just figured out how to rebuild like the sort of concrete the Romans used when they were constructing their like streets and stuff that have lasted to this day and do not need to be repaired.
I think that library.
We just figured that out.
That's insane. First of all, second of all, that whole event would have amounted to if we lost the internet, all of it, all at once. That's our Library of Alexandria, I think.
If like
The internet just vanished. The
the
storage,
security guards at the internet building
just all the
were shooting at some dudes trying to break in and they accidentally shot down the internet.
Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, they were aiming for, I don't know. They just shot the internet. They accidentally nuked the internet. I think there's 6 major sites where all the servers are held.
Yeah.
So there could be a concerted effort to just bomb those spots. We just lose.
Everything.
Like doctors rely on the internet, even if they have their fucking doctorates in surgery. They still Google shit all
That's
the time.
a perfect tool.
It is you have the knowledge of all of us combined in one place. With Google we have the Rosetta Stone built in, like for everything.
Yeah. You're right.
That'd be us. For them.
What if we could have a new version of the internet with an alchemist stone built in?
What?
I don't know. if you don't know what, or a philosopher's stone, sorry.
Like Harry Potter?
Yeah. It's like a perfect alchemist's tool. It changes anything to anything.
That'd be amazing.
I was hoping you knew what that was so that
No.
we could go on. I guess not.
No.
All right, if I could time travel anytime, anywhere, I'd probably put together like a bucket list of historical battles I want to see as a spectator. Number 1, checking out the invasion of Troy, the Trojan horse.
The Trojan horse would be hilarious.
Trojan horse in real time on top of the city gates wall.
I'd love to just
Watch that whole thing
I
happen.
wonder how it
oh my
looked
god,
for real though. Like I wonder how it looked.
it had to be like 100 and something feet tall to contain that many dudes to storm a city.
I think it's probably a little less impressive.
No,
it's
probably.
just wide. I think it was a wide thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't tall.
It's the fattest horse of all
It's
time.
probably as tall as
Probably
that.
closer to like an
As tall as a
elephant.
house.
Yeah, probably
2-story house.
Probably closer to like an elephant, maybe.
Yeah, it was probably like elephant shaped with some decorations.
That's number 1. Probably go look for some famous samurai battle somewhere, some famous samurai skirmish. The Battle of 300, the 300 Spartans. Want to see that in real time. Gettysburg, Civil War in America, and then what am I thinking of? The crossing of the Rubicon. I'm still on the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
If you gave me more time, I'd probably think of a lot more. That's what I would do with a time machine, just like looking at stuff. If I could go anywhere, anytime, but can't interact.
I'd solve conspiracies. That's what I'd do probably.
Ooh, Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper, UFO encounters, like what actually happened. Like some of the ones where it's like insane stories. I'm like, okay, where it's like 30 people saw this all at once. What happened?
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, not as much. I think that was all just crazy lonely men in the woods.
Guy in a suit, yeah.
JFK, I'd follow that guy into the fucking window and see if he was the guy that shot or if there's any other shooters. Just
Well, there's 3 shooters.
Well,
We know that now.
Well,
They declassified those documents.
the government still claims it's one shooter.
Yeah,
If you look up the official fucking
That's the
.gov,
government, dude.
they're like, no, it's one shooter.
Yeah.
He shot twice. No. He didn't shoot twice according to them.
He shot once.
There's 2 bullets.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
But JFK got hit and then
Yeah.
died from a second bullet.
I'd love to see that because there's the Secret Service agent that went public and talked about it. You could see him on the video running towards the car, and it's like, why would he be running unless he heard the first shot?
Yep.
And he said he heard the first shot. The president got hit in the throat, and then he's sprinting. Then the next one ricochets.
Would you solve modern mysteries like the Vegas shooting?
The
Vegas shooting is really interesting. Do you know anything about that?
I feel like I know everything about it. What do you mean? I was there.
It was you?
Oh, just kidding.
No, but seriously, do you know anything about like the Vegas shooting conspiracy?
I don't know about the conspiracy. I know about the events.
So, the story is that the one guy wheeled a cart of a bunch of guns and then took the window out and started shooting at a crowd at a concert.
And he took like a whole day to carry multiple bags.
Yeah.
Because that was on a CCTV. You could watch him walk in, walk out, get another big bag, walk in again.
Mm.
He brought all those guns and only used one. What a
Well,
poser.
the conspiracy is that in the pictures of the room,
Yeah.
the shell casings on the ground, you can see there's about like 20 shell casings, and none of the other weapons he brought up were used except for the one gun. But the reports on the floor is that there's multiple shots being sent out from multiple different angles of the same, like both ends of the same hotel, and then one from a different angle, like an opposite angle. Because people on the ground saw one shot, turn the other way, still see muzzle flash. And then obviously people start running in every possible direction and trample each other.
So it sounded multiple angles shooting down at them.
Multiple angles shooting down. And then also, how do you remove the bulletproof glass at the 35th floor or whatever of the Mandalay Bay or whatever hotel he was in? How do you get that many guns and that much ammo into a gun-free zone that high over the amount of time? Like, if you do it once, perfectly believable. I figured out a way to sneak this huge gun in like a guitar case or whatever because I didn't fly. I like brought it on the ground, and then I got it up to the room. It fucking worked for hours to get the window off, and then once the concert started, I laid out all my casings for my one machine gun, and then got killed. That would be super believable. No, this guy brought so many weapons and so much ammo up to this one room, quote unquote, this one room.
But like, how would you check for that? How would you check if he's bringing in guns? Because they're all probably disassembled. He had to build them in his room.
All of them?
Probably.
All of them.
He probably just took like the fucking barrel off the stock at least and kept the receiver and everything else important that was finicky together.
And then, the other big thing is that the rate of fire of the gun that he used did not match. What was it? They're trying to ban like the AR-15 with the bump stock at the time.
Bump stock, yeah.
The rate of fire from his gun did not match that of an AR-15 with a bump stock. So
I don't.
People
think
are like,
he used a bump stock.
I don't think he did either.
No.
But people were immediately like, "Oh, it seems kind of weird that they're trying to like push for this particular type of like civilian weaponry to be banned." And then all of a sudden, there's like a mass shooting that has this exact type of thing that they're trying to ban, quote unquote, even though it doesn't match at all.
Now,
But the tragedy is so bad, people will just hear the headline and be like, "Obviously, he used that."
yeah, I think for whatever. Yeah, 'cause I think the first like theories were like he's using a bump stock. I don't know where that came from. I don't think he was. I got to look it up. Maybe
That was a media headline. That was
Yeah.
the whole thing.
For whatever reason, that was a thing. And people got upset. And a bump stock is really cool, sure, but it's the least. You're not going to be accurate with it whatsoever.
No, of course not. Why would you?
I mean, I don't know if it mattered for him because he's shooting down into a crowd.
No, it doesn't matter for him.
No. The thing with the fully auto, almost impossible to buy. It is impossible to buy where he lived.
Yeah.
But he had a ton of guns. He's a gun nerd, most likely.
And then, the other thing, his brother. Remember the thing with his brother?
That looked like him? Or no, there was a guy that looked like him or something in the news.
So his brother comes out like 2 days after this thing happens. Because they named him immediately. They're like, "Oh yeah, it was him. We went up, we killed him. We fucking... we did an autopsy, and it's this guy. Confirmed the body without his family."
Before you say, the only reason my brain jammed up is I remember the first photo of him wasn't him. They just put up an old guy.
Yeah.
And they had to apologize. It was like the quote, I wish it was Sam Hyde. And they showed a picture of Sam Hyde.
Was the Sam Hyde joke happening by the time?
No, that was it
Like
was,
shooting?
yeah.
Oh,
Because I think like fucking as early as Sandy Hook, his face was up.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, he was around.
Anyway, his brother comes out like 2 days later. He's like, yeah, my brother would not do this. My brother did not have the means to do this, and he didn't have a motivation. To this day, the guy still doesn't have any motivation or any inclination of why he would do that if the true story is to be believed.
Past crime, nothing.
And then the brother's like, I'm going to go to like my family accounts and all the last things he said to us, any recorded conversations or letters, correspondences, text messages, and I'm going to like fight this because like our family is going to be slandered and housened forever from this. And then immediately, I'm talking like before the next day rolls around, FBI's like, yup, he's got 30 terabytes of child porn on a Windows 98 computer that cannot hold that much information. Send him to prison forever, and then he died in prison.
Yeah. What? His brother.
Did he? He's either in prison or he got killed in prison.
His brother.
His brother, yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
Okay. For a second, I thought you were talking about the shooter. I was like,
No, the brother.
Okay.
No, they tried to get the brother on that shit.
That's bizarre.
And then they locked him up so that they could halt his his going against the investigation.
I'd love to see conversations with, like, if he had a video of him speaking. Because, I don't think we've seen leaked. I don't think.
No.
So we don't really know his personability. By the way, pointing way back, this is turning into like a pretty serious podcast. To the multiple angles.
It's comedy, guys. It's a comedy show.
Like if you've been to a city like New York City, for example, and there's sirens, oftentimes you're going to be looking down the street, and you're convinced they're coming from that direction. No, they're coming around the corner to your left.
Yeah.
And it's like, then as they get closer, they sound like they're over there, then over there, then over there, until they're right in front of you.
Just the density, of material in a metropolitan like that makes the sound seem like it's coming from everywhere.
They're echoing off of the tops of buildings, depending on the shapes, and like all around you. So it's like, at some point, it's like, fuck it, I could not. And especially, like Mason's been like hunting, and he told me that how his dad like shot a rifle when he was kind of far away, and he thought his dad was all the way over there, but it just echoed off the mountain weird. So he heard it from there, but his dad was actually that way. And like those types of things do happen. So the multiple shooter thing, I don't think this is JFK. JFK was definitely multiple shooter.
I'm willing to throw like each individual piece of the conspiracy for stuff like this, or for anything for that matter, like out the window if it's very easily disprovable, because I'm not going to buy into the fact that it's like they're obviously lying to us, because it's so much. Any individual piece of this could be wrong. Conspiracies become believable when it's like, and this and this and this and this and all seems wrong
when it gets
and
told,
you don't have answers for any of it.
When it gets told without being stopped at each point, it's way more believable.
Yeah, of course.
If you listen to like a 3-hour-long documentary of like, this is and this and this, doesn't this seem weird because of this? And it's like, ooh, but wait a minute. Wait, all these points combined, if you just analyze all of them individually, none of them make sense.
Yeah, no.
For the shooting out of nowhere.
There's just not a lot of answers for this individual case. Mischief or Cussor? Mischief Castle!
You know, like the channel JCS that did like the police investigation videos or like the interrogation videos?
Yep.
Where he's like, oh, the kid's feeling this or whatever, like the breakdowns of the interrogations. There was one case I was listening to last night or the night prior, because I just got back on a binge of watching those videos again. Mm-hmm. There was this Asian kid that was adopted to this family. He didn't show any signs of violent anything whatsoever. He was maybe a little bit slightly autistic or like maybe antisocial disorder in some angle, but like for the most part, normal. In the interview, they keep asking him like, why did you kill your sister? His plan supposedly was, it was a couple days a week before Christmas, and him and his sister and his mom bought his dad a gun, a handgun, and they wrapped it up and they hid it under his bed, under the kid's bed.
The kid's bed?
Yeah, the kid's bed. Okay. Because they wanted to bring it out on Christmas morning. So they had it there. It was hidden. And for whatever reason, He just got up, took it out, unboxed it, loaded it, walked up, shot his sister, went to the parents' room, and went to shoot them, jammed up. Actually, no, what happened? He wasted every bullet
On his sister.
and he tried to reload, but I think what happened is he was nervous, I guess, and took out the mag and replaced it with the same empty mag, and when he pointed it at his parents, it was still empty. Now, the motive, they could not find one. And when they interrogate him, he's like, I don't know why I did it. No idea. That's what he still claims to this day. He's like, I'd never thought about it. I wasn't angry. I was happy. Like, we just went on a trip together. No abuse, nothing in the family. Just started doing it. He just loaded it and just proceeded to do it robotically and just did it. And then his parents described it as he was just completely out of it, just doing it, just shooting, trying to shoot. Some people just snap temporarily, disassociate entirely.
Oh, yeah.
He told the investigator that he basically viewed it as he was watching a movie in his head, like he was watching through his eyes, not being there for it.
Yep.
Those things can happen.
Yeah.
But like but that's like an in the moment sort of thing. I feel like, the guy.
That's not something you plan out. It's just
The
like you
plan out
have
thing, yeah.
access to the resources and just go do
It
it.
was the resources and the mental state combined. Probably comes out with that. That's terrifying.
That seems like it's like I don't know. I don't know anything about that case, but
I'll link you the thing. It's fucking fascinating. It's really like sad to look back on.
Oh yeah, of course. Those things are always
I spoiled
so
it for you
tragic.
'cause coming into it, I'm like, what led him to do this? And it's like, fuck. They do. His parents still love him.
Yeah.
They're like, they want him released.
Knowing that he has no answer for why
Yeah.
any of it happened, or it's like fully inconclusive, honestly makes reading some of that shit a bit more interesting for me. As each individual piece, I could put a theory together, and then knowing that it'll lead nowhere, it just makes me crave another piece. So
Yeah.
I get a different type of entertainment value out of that.
That thing, those channels are fascinating to me. 'Cause,
The full dissociation things, I always wonder about. Like,
I've had dissociative states.
I disassociate like when I go to work a lot. I enter this like full robot mode where I'm kind of just in the flow of things, and I feel like when I start thinking about stuff in my own little world, if somebody just handed me something, I would probably just carry it and bring it to a place without thinking about what it is I'm carrying. I understand that those things do exist and can happen to anybody, but I always wonder with like fucking classified government military testing on like psionic weaponry and bullshit, and with the effects that like our phones can have on our heads. Remember like back when cell phones, like smartphones, were first a thing. They're like, the radiation's going to get you. You can't be holding it up to your head anymore. Obviously, those were scare tactics back at the time. But if there's literally any validity to that, then it's weaponizable. And if it's weaponizable, then for like the first 40 years of its existence, people in the know or outside of like the military are just not going to know about it. And MK Ultra is already a thing that happened. So if there's a new type of fucking testing people are doing with products
I love that
on
MK Ultra existed. That's
MK
insane.
Ultra was real, and the government was never like, no, we
Yeah.
definitely didn't do that. They're like, yeah, we just wanted to see what happens if we give a kid acid until he breaks.
Operation Midnight. Oh, those
Oh,
things.
high jump, blue beam. Oh my god, all of them.
Those are so much fun because they're real. It's
Yeah.
not like, oh, these are like, and like, oh man, who's the Unabomber? What's his name? Ted Kaczynski.
Ted Kaczynski, baby.
He was part of the studies.
They transed him.
They transed him. He was part of the acid mind control.
Yeah, he
studies.
resisted the transing, and then went
They
to
did
live
it
in the
for a
woods.
while, and he was already kind of neurodivergent from what his family said. Another person, Charles Manson. He was part of the program, MK Ultra. He was part of that, or Operation Midnight. He was also part of that. And one other guy, doesn't matter, but like those things they tried. I don't think the most that phones can do is the information that we see. If it's curated per person, it could nudge a person to see certain things. Because all your phone's emitting is microwaves.
No, I'm not. Yeah. I'm not
Microwaves.
trying to present some kind of different theory about like, yeah, that kid was fucking influenced by a self. No, I don't care about that.
I think,
But just a lot of this stuff comes together in a way that's similarly interesting between cases and examples. Did I ever tell you about the radiation sleep test?
No, I don't.
There was a I forgot which university did it, but there was by an accredited university, an independent study, took a group of people and a control group, obviously. That's how his studies work.
Yeah.
They took a group of people.
No control group. We just took a bunch of people.
They took a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And then they had them write out like a contact sheet or like a list of people that were very close to them who like lived in the same area or something.
Okay.
Unbeknownst to these people who wrote out these lists of people, they brought out somebody from that list to the experiment. And these people did not know each other were part of the same experiment. So they have the group A go to sleep one day, and they're measuring for like gamma rays or some other type of like very noticeable, measurable radiation. That's not harmful, but it's just, I don't know, useful data. And a control group, they had them go to sleep with nobody, no extra other group of people.
Yeah.
And then the B category, the other people from the list of the first group, they said, we want you to think about like your favorite memory or very positively about this specific person. And they were the people who were sleeping. And they noticed that like when somebody close to you is thinking like happy thoughts or like wishing well or thinking back to their best memory of you, while you're sleeping, your gamma rays or whatever they're measuring spike consistently. And then they run it against the control group, and it's seemingly like the control group is no correlation. It's random. But all of like 5 or 10 of these people in this experiment group consistently are spiking. And then they ran that same experiment like 2 or 3 more times, and it was just proven consistent. And I don't know what to make of that. I don't know what the point of what they were looking for is, or if it proves anything at all. But it's just an interesting, like, there's something immeasurable about like human existence or like how we interact with the world that kind of defies certain
how would
things.
that be communicated?
Exactly.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
Like if I'm taking the study at complete face value, because I could easily be like, all right, so how big was the sample size? Was it rechecked? Did other universities check it? But at face value, how is that being communicated? Is it the weirdness that consciousness is that we still don't fully understand? Is there some fucking ether of some sort that we all live in, that are tapped in, and our consciousness pokes out of it that we see as us? That shit's bizarre. Very metaphysical at that point. There's nothing you can measure there. How would you measure that communication?
Yeah, exactly.
I
don't have an answer. I'm not proposing that this leads anywhere, but saying like the dissociating makes me think of like invisible forces and sort of stuff, and that invisible forces leads me to think about that experiment, and then I kind of hit a dead end.
I think,
but like these things kind of all railroad off of each other for me.
I've only dissociated heavily, like a few times. Weed makes me really disassociative. But when if we eliminate drugs, it's probably like a really, really stressful moment where like a lot of stress is piling up, and then it like something interpersonally, then anxiety, and all these things start doing it, like fucking piss me off and stress me out. Don't know what to do. My brain snaps. It's almost like its own internal safety mechanism. I disassociate fully. Nothing's real anymore. I'm watching life now. It's like just taking a back seat in my own brain for a while. My main consciousness, I'm just letting my subconscious, even though I'm still conscious, take the wheel.
You're going on autopilot, yeah.
And I'm just watching it, and there's no feeling about anything that I'm watching anymore. All the feeling, like any judgment, any feeling about like, oh, this could be seen as this, is gone. So in those states, I can imagine that somebody could be very impulsive and do awful things if it gets extreme. Because you don't feel anything about anything. Nothing's real.
No.
Like, there's no consequence, because consequence doesn't mean a thing because it's not a real thing. Those things are mindfucky. I remember pretty, like, it's a slight segue according like to the study thing. I remember seeing the study of where they had people in a room, and they had a bunch of cameras that could detect infrared and different changes in heat, and they had what's that one camera that just checks for air pressures, whatever. Doesn't matter. They had a bunch of different sensors watching 2 people in a room. All they did is sit, don't talk.
Yep.
Just they sit in a room, 2 chairs, and they look at each other. Male, female, usually. I think that was the study. They did some male, but no, they didn't do any. They just said male, female, and they just looked for pheromone release. That's all they did. And in silence, no words, nothing. They could even turn away from each other. They did the same study. And oftentimes, they would interview the people after, and then the people that both released pheromones at the same time, they interviewed those after. And they were like, yo, after post-interview, they made each other rate each other, or they talked to each other after in a group. I forgot. I think they just wrote it on paper. Which contestant?
Contestant. It was for a game show.
No, it wasn't a game show. It was
Try not to get horny, and if you succeed, you win $45,000.
And it was like, hey, which person did you like the most? And it all lined up perfectly with all the pheromone releases, like without you knowing.
Yeah.
Like you could enter a room, be back to back with a person, not see them whatsoever, and start falling for a person you have not seen.
Mm-hmm.
That was the scenarios where, like, a guy and a girl would enter a room, not see each other, just sit in a room for like 5 minutes, walk out, and they'd rate each other higher, like high on the board, no matter what.
There's a pretty
that was bizarre.
Yeah.
Like, where does that release even come from?
And how is that release interpreted and communicated in a measurable way between people?
Just
there was
another
one. This one was a bit more direct. They had like they kind of did it as like a dating app experiment almost, but it was still like a scientific thing. They had nice job, dude. Good thing that's like empty. They had like 5 people, like 5 I don't know, sexually compatible people, like male, female, so 10 total, and they had each of them like sleep in a shirt for like 3 days in a row, and then they put that shirt in a bag, like a plastic bag, and then they just sealed it airtight so that it just traps everything, all the smell and the odors and the pheromones into the fibers of the shirts. And then they had the other group, so like they did it for the men, and they had the women come in one at a time, open up all the bags, and just take the shirt out and smell them. And then whichever one they're like, ooh, I really like that, they just matched them up. And then they did that for all 5, and it had like a...
How was the success rate of that relationship?
Among continued studies,
yeah,
because it was 100% for the first study, and they repeated
That's
it like 5 more times, and it had like a 93% success rate. But that speaks to the same thing with the previous experiment about the pheromones and the infrared.
They didn't do the keep up, because those people, I don't think most of them even talked after. It was all on paper, and like they just had one session.
Yeah,
that would have been the perfect dating study. That'd be interesting. Because I've met people where I've slept with them, like they look really hot. It's just I'm with them, and I'm like, I just get the sense. I'm like, this ain't it. This is wrong. Or like, just their smell is not it. Like, it's whatever. They don't smell bad, but it's just not it. So that definitely plays in heavily.
Yeah. All right, what the fuck were we on? Oh,
we got onto dating theory through smell.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so
like
pheromones and personal relation, and you said like you can sleep with people, and they're like, you look beautiful, but there's just nothing compatible in you.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not truly connected, and I feel like a lot of people feel that.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
but not a lot of people understand like where like fucking bullshit spiral dynamics come into it about like personality types.
Spiral dynamics. What?
Because you can okay.
What is spiral?
I'll explain it in a
dynamics?
second, but basically like there's a type of there's personality dynamics that relate to each other in like a spring or like coil like loop.
Okay.
I guess. So as you look at different types of personalities, they're kind of like lateral to 2 other personalities in a circle almost. So if you're across from each other, there's nothing there connected. So you can see somebody beautiful laterally, but then there's just nothing connecting at all. So I was looking that whole time for like the Ken Wilber models, and the first one is a like a little 4-quadrant thing. It's so
Before we get, how much do you believe in this model?
I find it interesting. I think it points to a lot of things that are objectively true. I don't know if it's the model to go off of for personality types, but I like hearing about it and taking it with a grain of salt.
Do you think it's closer to like the DSM-5 or like a male astrology? Like,
I think it's, I don't know. I guess psychology kind of is male astrology, just in general.
I mean, it's based in.
When you say, are you talking about like the Myers-Briggs when you say DSM-5? Because the DSM-5 is just a categorization of mental illnesses.
Yeah, it's just like it's just the book of like how you diagnose and.
No. I'm not talking about mental illness. I'm just talking about personality types.
I mean, it doesn't cover only mental illness. It covers personality in general.
Really?
It's a big old book. Yeah.
Oh, all right,
it's
never mind.
a fucking good read.
Well,
I've read it online. I kind of want to own it. It's expensive.
I would like for it to be mine.
I want my own.
Anyway,
so I can manipulate.
So the first it's like a 4-quadrant thing, and the y-axis from bottom to top is collective to individual, and then the x-axis from left to right is interior to exterior. So it just measures your like what your thought process is, and like where that would place your personality among the quadrants. Okay. So the interior is like I, subjective. So interior individual is like subjective thoughts, emotions, memories, state of mind, perceptions, and immediate sensations. It's like if your first thought is about you, yourself, and how things relate to yourself, no matter what's around you, you kind of get placed into that one. And then like
so Alex, so Aleksey.
Exterior individual is objective or it. So like your material body, visible and measurable behavior, and competences and skills. So you're still yourself, but like what is physically happening more than like caring about what's going on in your own mental state. And then interior collective is we, or like an in-group or intersubjective. So shared values, meanings, language, relationships, and cultural background. And then exterior collective is it's or inter-objective. So systems, networks, technology, government, and the natural environment. Everything as an out-group being considered as an in-group.
You just leveled all the things I care about in order. And how they stack up.
Well, okay, so like so if you're an interior individual, you're going on an I, you can't really have an argument about anything of value or form a relationship of value at all with like an exterior collective person, because it's not really about your like spoken values and what you will try to participate in. Your thought process will just take you in such a different direction in general that you can't really find a middle ground, because like, so if you're in the top left corner, the top right corner and the bottom left corner are directly connected to you. You can see eye to eye even if you don't agree, but the one that's like laterally across from you, just nothing. There's just nothing there in general. Yeah, and I think that's not communicated by pheromones, because thought process and mindset don't really have anything to do with like compatibility.
I think
physically or like personability.
I think pheromones might overstep it.
Overstep it?
Because it might convince you. I think pheromones will manipulate you into changing or suppressing parts of yourself.
Oh.
Because there's oftentimes where I'm like, I've met a girl and I'm like, I don't really care about hiding any factor of myself because I don't feel sensation or even the smell, I guess, the pheromones. If we're going down that way, it feels weird talking about it like that. It's like,
it's a strange thing to say, right?
Yeah, and it's like I just don't feel like conforming whatsoever. And there's other people I've met where it's like, what were you looking at? I thought you were looking at something. And there's other people I've met where I'm like, I feel this out of nowhere with this person. What the fuck is this? Where I'll just temper all of my perspectives just for that. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't feel like tempering. It just feels like a compromise for a better thing for me, because I'm always self-centered.
Yeah.
And I always justify it that way.
Interior,
other people,
interior individual, dude. You're
so
rocking that I and I.
Yeah, constantly. I mean, I have to manipulate the exterior to maintain the interior. Mm-hmm. So I have to communicate within the exterior constantly.
I'm big. I'm interior collective, I think.
Yeah,
not the same as you, but lateral to it.
Interior collective. What am I? What?
You're
in that graph.
You're interior individual, top left corner. So you care about your interior self, and on an individual level. Yeah. I care about interior self on an in-group level. Yeah. So like my circle and my family and stuff is me.
I like being me and surrounding myself with a collective.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a very different thing.
Yeah, it's a very different crowd. One's probably more socially acceptable to talk about. I'll let the audience vote.
Interesting stuff. Weird rabbit hole we went down.
Weird rabbit hole. Where you at? What's going on in Baldurs Gate?
I am. All right. So last time we talked on the show about it, I was like, I don't even remember I didn't do anything really.
You just got to the front gates of like the Goblin Camp.
Oh yeah.
And you mowed down a bunch of people out front.
Yeah. So I mowed those motherfuckers down.
Did you get inside yet? Is my question.
No, because when we talked privately, and I went back to the Are
we doing
to the
private
Grove
version of this?
Huh?
Okay. Yeah.
I went back to the Grove, and then I told you all that stuff in the car about like all the shit I did and how I felt.
Yeah.
And I only played for like 2 hours, but I went from the Grove, found the kid in the hole, and the little like the bandit tieflings or whatever. It's just like a mini shop basically, so it's useless to me. Booked it, left. Went back when I went to in the camp in the morning where I saved last time we talked.
Yeah, and Shadowheart.
Shadowheart was like, "Hey, do you want to like sneak away for a second?
You want a sex?
Yeah. So
Sex.
I loaded in the camp, and I started another conversation with her, and I said the same thing. I was like, I don't think we've spent a lot of time like just you and I. And she goes, "Oh, I know a spot." And I'm like, "Oh, lead the way." And she's like, "No, not right now." Because it was It was morning. It was morning.
Oh no!
So she extended the invitation, and then even though like when you say no, she's like, "Oh, phooey, oh fiddlesticks, you're ruining my fun." She says no if you do it in the morning. So I went out, I did everything, and then I went to the Owlbear Cave because I was gonna walk my ass all the way back to the Goblin Camp.
So
and then start that.
Okay.
I did the Owlbear Cave,
Ooh.
and it was...
Was it hard?
It was surprising. So here was my experience with the Owlbear Cave.
Yeah.
I walk in, and I group stealth, I group crouch, and I'm just going as slowly as I can, picking up every angle of everything. I'm trying to snoop the into sleep. You said the cub was asleep when you went in there.
Yeah. I went in there with a different circumstance.
It was not asleep when I went in there.
Okay, different time. Well, you probably went in way later, too.
I did. But, so I go in there, I start looking around. I come to this little fork in the road from the entrance of the cave, and I look left, and I see all this loot and a statue of one of these gods or whatever. Shara, no, not Shara. Shar is Shadowheart's god. Yeah. Serena or whatever, the sister god to her.
That comes into play.
I see a bunch of lootable shit, and I'm like, I have the capability to just jump down there and take all that.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing any sight cones, but I'm not seeing a way to climb back up from where I am. So if I jump down there and it's a trap, I'm fucked. So I went around the other way instead, and I walked directly into the Owlbear. Now,
yeah, I was about to say.
The other way is it's just walking around.
By the way, you could have just climbed down.
Oh, really?
There's a rock wall right there.
Oh, fuck. All right, well. All right, well, anyway.
Your mouse didn't hover over it.
It just didn't hover over it, no.
Oh, no.
So, so I walked up. The owlbear is just skulking around. Yeah. I'm seeing its sight cone. Yeah. I hide behind a little pillar. And I'm playing as my rogue guy.
Yeah, of course.
So I click on opportunity attack, or a sneak attack with my bow, because I'm at range. So I'll have an advantage on it. I hover over its health. It's damaged and threatened, or like whatever that. It's like feeling endangered. It's only got like 75 of 81 health. Those people from the outside took a chunk off of it before I could even get there. So I'm like, oh shit! If I engage combat with it on an advantage roll and I hit it twice, I'm gonna knock it down to like half health.
This
with
is
my
your
guy.
first boss fight, really, isn't it?
I have me and my whole group hide behind this pillar.
Yeah.
This little rock. And
I think I know exactly where you are, yeah.
And I'm aiming at it, and I click on sneak attack, and it says, can't have disadvantage against this creature. I'm like, what? No. So I click out of it. I walk like 2 steps to the right. Click it again, line it up. It says, sight path blocked. Oh, no. I am pissed at this point. I forget to left or to right click on my guy out of it. So I'm going to take like 2 steps to the right because the thing's facing away. It's not looking at me.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to shoot it from there. as soon as I'm out of cover.
Just regular shoot.
Nope. Gale decides to step in my way, and I end up clicking on him, and I shoot Gale for half of his health. And then the noise he makes, he goes, ah! And it makes a noise, and the owlbear immediately, like, it doesn't even do an animation to turn around. The model just flips and looks at me, and then as soon as it's in sight cone, autosave, load a cutscene. I'm like, oh,
There's
geez.
a cutscene?
There's a cutscene. It comes up to me, it goes, rah! And the narrator goes, you finally see it, the mythical owl bear. And we start talking, and I get a couple options. I get animal handling. I get performance for back up and say you're not a threat. I get a different performance for puff your chest and roar at it. And I get one for ready your weapons, and then we just start combat.
Holy shit.
So I picked...
What if you had animal speak at the time? I wonder if it would...
My animal speak wore off because I went to camp.
Yeah, fuck. I wonder what that would be
in
like.
its treasure pile, by the way, is a potion of animal speaking. So if I did take that...
I think that's why it was there.
So that you could talk to it, and then...
easily climb down and come back up.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have that. So what happens here is I click performance for puff my chest and roar. Throw some guidance on it. Don't have friends because this thing's hostile at me. DC's like 15. I somehow succeeded with like a 17 or an 18. And it just backs up. And it just walks away. And I'm like, oh shit. That's awesome. I'm going to start walking around and exploring this cave now that I don't have an enemy. I just diffused it. You? Now, yeah, I diffused it and it just stops bothering me. It just goes over to its cub. They just start cuddling up and I'm like, I start exploring. To the right of the little rock I was behind, right and forward a little bit, is like a pile of bones or whatever. It's like something that some person that it ate. I didn't even click on that. I clicked near it because directly the path to it was like a pile of mud and I just didn't want to be like physically encumbered or whatever. Yeah. So I walk around. And then as soon as my guy faces this pile of bones, I didn't even highlight it to loot. It just starts combat. And the thing gets threatened that I'm going to try and take its stuff. So I'm like, all right, whatever. This fight, surprisingly easy. So I got my guy. My guy, he's epic. I threw a shield on him, and he's proficient with a rapier. I swapped out my short sword for a rapier. Shocking grasp and a goblin bow, and... he fucking murks everybody. So I'm not scared of combat anymore. Let's go. I shoot the owlbear. Second turn, it's Gale. Last turn, Shadowheart. Can't even heal him. Gale's coming into this with half health. I hope he doesn't get targeted because he's going to be down. Attacked him. I snuck attacked my guy next to him.
That is insane surprise. You had the element of surprise on your friend.
That's called betrayal, is what that's called.
We're sneaking. Imagine me and you are sneaking up on something,
and then you just stab me.
And just fucking, I shoot you with a gun right there. Not like lethally. I just shoot you in the leg, and you're like, what the fuck? And somehow you still follow me to battle after that.
All my guys are to the right. We're hugging this wall.
Yeah.
My guy, I think he shoots. Yeah, he shoots the owlbear. Only the mom, only the big mama. So I have Gale. I'm like, fuck, dude. I'm not gonna try to attack this thing because I don't want to aggro it. I expand the spell sheet. I didn't realize he had Fog Bank, so I click Fog Bank, and now this thing's blinded. Oh, let's go, dude. Let's fucking go.
Now you have opportunity on it.
I have opportunity on it.
Or is it advantage?
It's opportunity if you're sneak attacking, if you're a rogue.
Okay.
So my guy would.
Yeah, you could get a sneak attack through that.
But who needs that? I'm just going to fucking send Karlak into a rage and run her ass in there.
Dude, sneak attack's OP.
I send Karlak in. She puts a walloping double swing on this thing. Knocks it down to like 10 health. It's the cub's turn before the mom. This thing runs up and just flicks Gale and he falls down. For some reason, he's downed. His concentration does not break on the Fog Bank.
No shit.
So I just get to keep it. It's awesome.
He got downed and kept it. Holy
yeah.
I wonder what that roll was because it doesn't show you the.
No, it doesn't show you. So then Shadowheart runs up, helps him, heals him.
That roll
We're back in the
fucking
front.
20.
Yeah. And then the owlbear does what I know. Listen. So I know Baldur's Gate 3 is a video game.
Yeah.
I'm going to describe what the owlbear did as video game bullshit. because it took movement and action and a bonus action, and swiped Karlak and then moved, and then jumped on all 3 of my guys outside of the fog bank and flattened them like Snorlax. Yeah. And then Gale falls again, and the fog bank goes down.
No, that's awesome.
It's so sick. But now this thing, like, my guys got out from under it, but we're all on opposite, like, we're all surrounding it. So it's behind it. Again, my guy gets a free sneak attack for being behind it, and he survived the jump. So take this thing down to, like, 2 HP. And now, I don't remember what, I think I needed to move Karlak out. I lost control of her for some reason. I needed to move her out, because she was in the mud and in the fog bank at the same time. So she just like, fuck, and I'm not doing anything right now. Lost her turn, couldn't get back over the owlbear. Had to pick up Gale again with Shadowheart. And then I just ran Gale behind me and cast Witch Armor or something. Or Mage Armor. And then the cub runs away. And the owlbear's turn again. She just takes another fucking bullshit swipe at me. Misses, luckily. Jumps on Karlak again. And by the way, the animation for the bugbear jump, or the owlbear jump, is fucking silly.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It just puts its limbs out, and then the model just goes up and down.
Yeah. It's not amazing.
It's not amazing.
It's like if you have figurines and you're just
playing
with them. Yeah.
It's got a little charm to it, because I have done shit like that with figurines in the D&D tabletop game. It only
sticks out because the rest of the game is really high quality.
It's really good. Yeah, that's like it's the low. Well, it is like the first boss fight, and it's like the lowest fucking quality thing.
Well,
I've
I feel
seen.
like the first boss fight should be.
It's not like a real boss. It's optional.
No.
It's not like a story boss.
It's supposed to be your first time fighting boss.
Yeah,
they kind of level it that way.
I run to. Yeah. Okay. Karlak runs up, slaps it, takes its last hit points. It doesn't just end the combat. If the mother dies and the cub doesn't, it triggers this little cutscene. I don't know if you got that or if you just killed the kid. Did you just kill the kid?
I was about to talk to you about that. I killed the kid the first time.
Oh, okay.
He was the first to die.
Oh, right.
On my dark urge, I let the kid live.
Oh,
and
I let the kid
scene
live too.
played, and
it starts eating its mother.
And then the dark urge is like...
I'm just confused.
Dark urge is standing there being like...
I could also eat the mother.
I could eat you as well. But that scene was insane.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you kill the mother, and then the little cub walks over, and it's like, oh, it's going to be really sad. And then he just starts eating his own mother. Does not give a fuck. There's no emotion about it.
Everybody approved of me letting it live, too. Which I got, like, full likes out of it.
Did you tame it?
No, I did not tame it.
You can.
You can tame it?
Yeah.
Well, I already have the dog in the camp, so I don't need that.
You could tame it as animal speak, and you could bring it into battle in the future.
Ooh.
Don't go back, resave. Don't do it.
No, I'm not. It's not worth it.
Just carry on, yeah.
Did you get did you save the dog and bring it to your camp?
Of course, yeah.
Did you take its ball?
Yeah.
Did you know that its ball gives you the Find Familiar spell?
No.
I had Karlak has animal speak, so I just used her in camp to go talk to the dog, and she took its ball, and then I scroll through a little bit to the right. Now it's Find Familiar, Sparky, or whatever the dog's name is, Scratch.
You could bring him into battle?
And the description says find best, or like summon best boy.
Oh.
Like it's the fucking meme description.
Oh.
Yeah, if you have his ball in your inventory, you can use it. You can use it to summon him as a familiar.
I'm not gonna lie, I took the ball, and now anytime I visit camp, I have the ball.
You throw the ball.
I throw it every time. I'm like,
oh,
look at it. I'm like, and then he runs up.
He
so
brings
excited.
it back to me. Yeah,
I'm like,
the dog's awesome.
I love it.
The
He's
owlbear,
my favorite character.
The owlbear cave had some pretty sick loot. I upgraded my armor.
Yeah,
mine and Shadowheart's armor. From just
she's the best girl.
Cause
you're the best boy, and you're the best guy.
Yeah, just the loot from that cave, and then I went around to. Oh, you talked to me about this earlier, and I loot the room, go back around the waterfall, jump across the thing, get to the enchanted box.
The one I was talking about, yeah.
Starts fucking knocking my guy's ass around. I try to just inspect it with Gale. 20 damage. He's down to 1 health. Try to inspect it with my guy. 11 radiant damage. I'm half health. What the fuck is going on? So I take all the other bullshit around here.
Did you open it?
Yep.
How?
How?
How did you open it?
You would like to know how to open it? On the other side of that little creek. You have to jump across the creek.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, you jump across and you go behind it. And behind it is a book with like a religious text of this god, like telling the story between her and Shar, Shadowheart's lady.
Shaw.
And when you read it, everybody in your party will do, I think it's a perception or an insight check or something. And then to the left is a piece of paper which has a prayer sheet ripped out of that book. If you take the prayer sheet and you jump back across and you open your inventory and read it, it despawns the magic seal from the box.
Fucking way.
But I have to warn you.
Okay.
When you click to open the box, Shadowheart will get in your way and say, no, this is some bullshit from this god nobody should listen to. And if you try to open it, it's probably a curse. So fuck you. Don't do it. And she does the eyebrows, and she's really angry.
Does she do the head tilt?
She does. She gets really angry at you.
Her head tilt breaks me every time.
There's some good stuff in that box. It's a good box.
Did you not take any of it?
I took it all.
Okay.
And Shadowheart was mad.
Yeah.
She was mad. But it was not a trap. And now we all just left. And then I...
Did it say Shadowheart disapproves?
It says Shadowheart disapproves. I started walking towards...
I love that this game like allows those moments. It's not like, oh, you're just locked out of a relationship with this person. It's just like, there's so many things that down the line, like in Act 3, where Shadowheart looks back at the things she disapproved with you on, and it's like, oh, fuck.
That was dumb.
No, she's like, no, I'm glad that you did that. Because that was really cool. Hey.
You good? Yeah, I mean...
There's a lot of those moments, because like usually in every other like game, it's like, oh, if there's a disapproval, it's like, it's a complete negative.
Yeah, it's so over. So I walked, the last thing I have to do, the last one, before I checked everything. I went and I circled back on everything in the intro before I do the Goblin Camp, because that's the last thing I have to do. I'm a little bit better at combat now. I'm well prepared. I'm going to try and fight the guys that Karlach wants to hunt before I go there.
In the toll house?
Yeah, in the toll house. Because I have the spawn point, or the right to the Goblin Camp through there, and I already killed the people at the front gate, so I can just walk right in.
Yeah, definitely plan for it heavily.
I have some explosive barrels in Karlach's inventory.
Okay.
I'm on the roof right now.
That's where you left off?
That's where I left off.
Okay.
Before I did that, I wasted all my spell slots with everybody on the owlbear fight. So
you got to do the long rest.
I long rested, and then me and Karlach went on a cute little date that night, and we shared just a kiss, and that's it. Because I'm not pushy.
Well, good thing
I'm very subtle.
Good thing Shadowheart is poly, so it's fine.
I don't care for that.
There's one thing I learned about her where I'm like, ooh.
I come out of
You'll learn that too as well. That's gonna be. I wonder. That's gonna be a test. Act 2, midway through. It rhymes.
I come out of the camp, and then Shadowheart's like, I want to tell you everything about me and Char and the things that I want to do in my dark.
Did you have a flashback?
My dark justice. No.
Oh,
she just tells me about herself. And I'm interested. I like the little lore tidbits while she's telling me this. It keeps prompting me to use all of the dialogue options, and it's just picking them off one by one. And I'm getting a little bit worried because there's no leave option or like end conversation. The last one is just like, well, that was a whole load of nothing. Thanks for telling me that bullshit I didn't care about.
I hate those options. Like,
and I was getting scared because I had like 5 lines of dialogue with her, and then it's getting down to the last 2, and I'm like, don't fucking... It's down to that one and thanks for sharing. So I picked thanks for sharing, and I'm like, please be the end. And luckily it was. I was so scared it was going to make me say the mean thing for no reason because I didn't pick something correctly.
If after all that you just said,
wow,
well, that was a whole lot of nothing.
Fucking, I mean, oh man, I'm real hungry for that nothing burger you just fed me, dude, because that was nothing.
Shadowheart, you wasting my fucking time.
Yeah, so I'm gonna fight the paladins.
I think I know the exact dialogue. I had the same feelings as well. Yeah.
I'm gonna fight the paladins, and then I'm gonna finally go to the Goblin Camp, and then that's where I'm gonna be invested for the next week, probably.
I love how you have you've had like an entire campaign's worth
in just the Grove.
in just the Grove and just Act 1.
It's so big. It's so big. I've done 12 hours of gameplay of just that.
Now, this might be a negative. This might be a positive. Act 1, very open, very amazing, and it has a lot of hours. Act 2, just double that.
Oh, awesome.
So, and double the outcomes as well.
Oh, sick. So I'll just have to drop the game because I don't have that much time in my life.
I think you will have to just follow your character's motives strictly, not explore everything.
I'm hoping that video games are over for next year. We're cutting production on all the big releases, and also Unity is killing games. So take what you got. I'm like, thank the Lord, I can finally put 3,000 hours into this and not worry about other games.
Right now I'm split between Baldurs Gate, Starfield. Don't like Starfield whatsoever. Hate that game. Boring, gay. And Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. Very good.
How is
awesome,
that?
Epic. Very good.
I heard they fixed everything in that game. Even aside from Phantom
aside
Liberty.
from the DLC, it's just
it runs now.
Yeah, it's the game that I wanted. This when it came out, full of bugs. Sure. I've played Daisy when it came out.
Oh, when Daisy came out, it was awful.
So like my filter for bugs is like I don't care. I'll just save often and reload constantly. So I don't care. The story of that game made me sob in my room. It broke me. So like I will always see Cyberpunk 2077 as my probably top 3 game ever. So now that it reached its full potential, now normal people could play it. I'm really happy for that. There's a lot of cool mechanics now. Now that the cyberware actually means a thing, you could go like cyber psycho. They call it edge running.
No, that's not. Those are different things.
Yeah.
Those are different things.
They call it like when you're getting close to reaching your full like mental break point. That's when you're edge running.
Oh yeah, because
tip
it
like David from Edge Runners.
Yeah,
he was
on
reaching
a knife edge. Yeah.
So depending on how many upgrades, and they expanded those slots. Really good. That game, fucking love it. Phantom Liberty is. I'm looking at it. I'm kind of coming to the conclusion of the game, of the DLC already. It's probably 7 hours long. Not big. $20.
No.
Not an insane charge. So it's not like Blood and Wine from Witcher.
Yeah,
That was another
fucking.
Jesus. That's
Christ.
another 40 hours.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. So I'm gonna spend that in it. I'm still not finished with it. I want to do everything in it. Not like Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate is also taking up my time, but I paused on it because I don't want to finish it. Have you ever had a game where you're like,
I just don't want it to end?
I don't want it to end because as soon as it ends, I'm done with the game.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna think about. I'll think about it, but I won't ever open it again. It's gonna just stay on my desktop for a while until I delete it. Even though I know I could replay it, maybe like 3 years from now I'll replay it.
Yeah.
So right now I'm still in Baldur's Gate. Starfield, I literally have a podcast open whenever I play Starfield and turn down the volume on Starfield to 0. I play it as a mute video game.
I mean, Bethesda, it's a Bethesda game. Like, that genre of video games is now just called Bethesda, and it's not very good.
I literally listened to an entire 4-hour-long podcast with Windigoon on PKA.
Mm-hmm.
Starfield at 0. Just listening to them play. And I was probably at 5%, so I could just hear the echoes of a loud explosion.
Fuck you, Todd.
It's just not good.
No.
It's just not good. I keep thinking, I'm like, is it going to be good? No.
No, not at all.
What happened? And especially coming from fucking Baldur's Gate. Like, the characters don't give a fuck about what you say. Nothing matters. Everything's weightless. Everything's moving on the story. And in my brain, I'm like, why did you give me the options then? Just play the story that you want to tell me. What the fuck's the point? Hello? Nothing. All your choices mean dick all. You could say anything you want and you'll get to the same ending of that line. Oh, always. Baldur's Gate, you will just kill thousands of people that you can never speak to again. That's an option you'll have at the start of Act 2. Depending on how you come into it. Actually, because you can have 4 ways of entering Act 2.
Yeah, because if I don't get the Drow lady, I'm probably not going to have a genocide run, am I?
Yeah, probably not. And I don't know how it plays out.
I'm super worried about her. I'm not even in the camp yet. I'm like, I want her in my party though, but I also don't want to fucking cause a war.
But you don't want to do unreasonable things.
She's still with the Absolute when you meet her, right? So it's gonna be pretty fucking unreasonable.
Me knowing her full arc, I just don't know. I wonder if you could win her over on your side without being pure evil. Because I did the pure evil, and it easily wins her over. I don't know.
I think if
You'll
I cast, my plan is to cast Disguise Self as a drow, and maybe like Sweet Song her a little bit, and then try and reel it back as things go on.
Maybe try to charm her as well, or
probably
make her a friend. Do all those things.
If I cast Disguise Self and Friends on every interaction with her, I think I might be able to break the game in a way that's beneficial to me. Because I'm really interested. I want to have a woman party. I want to have her, Karlak, and Shadowheart. And I know they all hate each other.
She's I think she's a fighter class.
I don't have Lae'zel, so I do need a fighter.
Yeah. So she gets a ton of extra bonus actions as well, I think. Yeah. And she has like really cool powers.
Mm-hmm.
She's in my party. I'm not going to spoil some of them. Some of them are just like character specific for her. I'm like, ooh. They might not be. They might just be higher level for anything. I've just never seen them for any other character pop up. So I'm like, ooh, this is sick.
Yeah.
This is... she's super useful. She's like as useful as like Shadowheart in combat with like... Actually, for you, Act 1, she's not that useful. Maybe.
Would I even have access? You can recruit her Act 1?
I don't know.
Well, I'll fucking find out, won't we?
Yeah, you'll find out.
Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen.
See ya.
Enjoy whatever the fuck this turns into.
Just Russell.